All right, welcome. Thank you for coming in. Let's see. Okay, so about this presentation, we're going to talk about positive self-talk. My name is Heather Wooldridge, and I am a career and enrollment specialist here at Lower Columbia College. The reason I decided to put this together is because I realized when I was out of a job and I wanted to start looking again that I couldn't really do that until I started feeling better about myself, because it's really hard to go out there, find something, and really sell yourself, make the best of yourself when you don't even feel it, right? So I've been struggling with positive self-talk for a really long time, and I've been actively working on it more recently. So I decided to put this together. So really the purpose is to get people to start thinking about what positive self-talk is and how we can get into that, because it's so easy for us to stay in the negative. I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but negative thoughts tend to override positive for the majority of the time. So this is a quick overview. So if you would like any more information, then please just let us know. We can get you resources. So this is a video, super cute. Wouldn't it be great if we all woke up feeling like this every morning?
Look, I can be a circ. Now, my whole house is great. I can do anything good. I like my school. I like anything. I like my dad. I like my cousins. I like my aunts. I like my Allisons. I like my mom. I like my sisters. I like my dad. I like my hair. I like my haircuts. I like my pajamas. I like my stuff. I like my room. I like my whole house. My whole house is great. I can do anything good. Yeah. I can do anything good. Better than everyone. Better than everyone.
So to wake up every morning and have the energy of a toddler, wouldn't that be amazing? And to love life and love everything about it, that would be amazing. But that doesn't always seem to be the case. So before we can discuss positive thinking, we kind of need to explore negative thoughts. So at the root of our thoughts, there's sometimes a voice that is not always positive. These are going to be unhelpful thinking styles. I actually have a handout for it, but there is a website as well. So if you take one and pass it around.
Oh, I recognize this.
So the first one is all or nothing thinking. This is often considered black and white thinking. So a lot of people will say, if I'm not perfect, I have failed, or either I do it right or not at all. And you know, when I created this, I made an error in that first line. And when Jenny saw it and reviewed this for me, she said, leave it there, because that's perfect for this whole thing, because it says I'm not perfect. So I left it because it's kind of an example of I am a perfectionist, and if I would have seen that and she didn't tell me to leave it, I would have been making sure that that was off of there. But I went ahead and left it for her, but I have to point it out because I am a perfectionist and I would not have wanted that there. Overgeneralizing, seeing a pattern based upon a single event or being overly broad in the conclusions we draw. I think a lot of people talk this way. Everything, always, nothing, ever. Can we ever say anything is always something or never something? Not really, right? To generalize that is really a bad thing to do, especially in our own thoughts. Mental filters, so that's only paying attention to certain types of information, noticing our failures over our successes. I think one of the best things I can think of for this is, let's say you ask people to fill out a survey to say how you did, and all of them are like glowing and they think it's amazing, except for there's one. And it said, oh, you suck, or whatever, right? And all you can think about is that bad one. I mean, you analyze that over and over again. It's not what you think it is, it's what that one person thought it was. And so you tend to focus on that rather than maybe the positives. So disqualifying the positives is kind of related to that. Discounting the good things that happen or that you have done for some reason or another. Have you ever said, oh, that doesn't count? Did you want to add something?
Yeah, for years I felt so bad about myself due to my background circumstances that I was completely unable to see any of the good things I'd ever done in my entire life.
Absolutely.
It's only been in the last couple of months that I've finally been able to get over that.
And it's amazing once your eyes are open to it, right?
It is.
It is. It's like a whole new world. You pull the curtains open and you don't even realize it until you're there. All right, so another one would be jumping to conclusions. There are two types for this: mind reading, where you assume what you know someone else is thinking, or fortune telling, where you're predicting the future. You already know what the outcome's going to be, so why bother, right? Magnification, that's also called catastrophizing, it's a fun word, and minimization. So blowing things either out of proportion, which is the catastrophizing, or inappropriately shrinking something to make it seem less important. Emotional reasoning, assuming that because we feel a certain way, we think what we think must be true. I gotta say, I think I see this more in teenagers. I hope that a lot of us kind of grow out of that as we get older, but teenagers definitely, because they're very emotional, what they think is fact. That's just what it is. But to know that, that is not the truth. Fact is not the same as reality. Obviously, perception is our reality, so I don't want to discredit how you feel about something, but also being able to tell yourself, you know what, I may feel this way right now, but if I give it some time, really think about it, I might be able to see it in another way too. It's really important. All right, so thinking should or must. Using critical words like should, must, or ought can make us feel guilty or like we have already failed, or using that on other people could end up frustrating us. So telling ourselves that we have to do something a certain way or someone else should have done that, it's not helping to do that and to focus on those words. Labeling. We all know labels, right? One thing I like to say about labels, we assign them to ourselves. People assign them to us. But can we say really that we are a label? We might be able to be generalized in one category, but that's not who we are. We are all individuals. We are all different. So being able to realize that, if you're called something, somebody being called an idiot or calling yourself useless, we can't just categorize us as that, and we really have to rethink when we do that. Personalization. This can be blaming ourselves or taking responsibility for something we never did. Has anybody ever done that? Yeah. I've done it quite a bit. I probably still do this. And conversely, it can also be blaming others for things that you did do. I also know people who do this. So, we have to take responsibility for things we've done, but we don't have to take responsibility for things that other people do. Maybe we had a piece of responsibility in that, but just making sure that we're really analyzing, again, what we're thinking. All right, so one of my favorite quotes from Norman Vincent Peale: change your thoughts and you change your world. Just think about that for a minute. Change your thoughts and you change your world. Right? It's powerful.
Yeah.
It really is, because what we think is what we are. It really is. So what we're going to do next is talk about what we can do to change our thoughts. And there's lots of things that we can do. All right, so she mentioned some of the things that we can try to switch from that negative thinking to the positive thinking. Before we try this though, what do you guys think about getting stuck in the negative? Do you think that sounds right? Once you start feeling down, it's hard to get out of that, right? And if you think about this area, we have so much cloud cover. We have that sad, where everybody has the depression during these winter months because it's so gray and gloomy out. So that almost makes it worse and compounds some of these issues. But one thing that I like to do when I have an issue with a thought, first of all, you have to be aware that you're having the negative thoughts, right? Which means that you need to have a little bit of self-awareness. And sometimes that's difficult because you have thoughts that go on in your head all the time and you may not even be paying attention to them. But they're still there and they still affect how you're behaving and what you're doing daily. But if you hear it, if you hear a thought and you realize it's negative, what I like to do just in the moment is to counter it. And so I try to flip that thought and maybe argue with it a little bit. And it might sound silly, I'm not doing it out loud, you know, like in front of a bunch of people, look kind of crazy. But but I would probably, if I said, oh, you can't do that, what are you even thinking? I would flip it and say, you know what, I can do this. Just take it one step at a time, you're fine, right? So you just find a way, whatever it is, to flip it into something else. So one of the activities that I really like people to try, I have these little colored slips of paper laying around. If you would take one and on one side write a negative thought, and I'm not going to make you share this because I understand these are personal things, so just write something that might be a negative thought about yourself. You can do more than one if you want, it's completely up to you.
What if it's not necessarily negative? Like, what if it just has to deal with time?
However, I mean, it's personal, so whatever you want to write. So then I want you to flip it over. And I want you to write something to counter that thought. And for people who are often stuck in the negative, this is really challenging because countering that thought seems phony. It doesn't seem real to them, and it seems like they're not telling the truth. But again, our reality is our perception. So if we can train ourselves to think this way, it becomes our truth. It isn't a lie. But it is hard. So obviously you don't have to get out a piece of paper to do it, but I do like the activity of where you get your hands into it. You kind of have an opportunity to really explore it physically. That act of writing it down kind of helps to solidify it. Now, if you really want to, I would recommend taking that piece of paper and ripping it up, destroying it, whatever makes you feel good. I did one of these presentations and one of the people shared with me what theirs was, and it was so powerfully negative, and her other one was just as powerfully positive. But I asked her, would it be helpful to you to rip it up? And it was. So whatever you feel, go ahead and do it. I'm not going to tell you how to express yourself, but you're welcome to it. So another thing is positive affirmations. So using positive statements can help us develop a new attitude to ourselves and our situations. Some examples of positive affirmations, I know this word. I'm strong, I am confident and competent. I have all the time I need. I live a healthy and positive lifestyle. So these are subjective. It depends on who you are, where you normally have your negative thoughts, and so what you would post, it could be many. I actually know somebody who has a big mirror, and around the mirror, you would think it was like a frame, but it's like Post-it notes filled with positive affirmations. And it's amazing, and she looks at herself in the mirror and she sees those. And I don't know about you, but when I'm driving around, I like absently read things. And so if you have a way that you could absently read it, then you're not putting in a lot of effort, but it's still getting in there. Right? And that's important. So you could put this on the visor of your car. You could put this on your door on the way out. I mean, there's so many places you could post positive affirmations to help you start triggering your brain to think more like this.
Subconscious training.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely. So another one is a gratitude journal. Have you heard of a gratitude journal? This is pretty awesome. We all have heard of journaling or using a diary, but often when we write in those, it's a lot of negative because we focus on negatives. A gratitude journal is talking about what we're grateful for. Some people give rules like you have to write 5 or 10 of them. You have to do it at the same time every day. But honestly, I feel if you put too much rules on it, it's going to make it harder for you to do it, and you probably won't. So my suggestion is, as long as you feel comfortable doing it, by all means, do it however many you want to list, however way you want to list it. I'm not in any way going to tell you how to do something. But it's a great way to really start thinking about and exploring the things that are good in our lives rather than thinking about the things that are not. Our society is so drawn on bigger, better, more, right? If we're constantly thinking about bigger, better, more, and we're not able to accomplish those things, we don't see the little things that are amazing. And we don't want to miss those little amazing things. So being able to do this, it does take more effort than maybe the positive affirmations or just flipping our thoughts. But it is great and it feels good doing it. And then you can always go back and read it. So that's the nice part about it. So another way is by helping others. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. I have one disclaimer to go with this after I read this part here. It says people who volunteer or help others tend to have higher self-esteem, psychological well-being, and happiness. All of these things go up as their feelings of social connectedness goes up, which in reality it does. It also improves their health and even their longevity. My disclaimer is, if you are already a giving person, you need to be careful. If you give too much of yourself, you will then have nothing for you. And so by doing that, you actually can make your negativity worse. So you need to find balance in all things, moderation, right? That's what they say. Don't eat too much, don't drink too much, everything in moderation. So just know that helping others is a great way to be able to make yourself feel good about yourself. If you're out there, you're helping somebody, even if it's just running up and helping somebody carry up their groceries to their door because you see they're struggling with it. Even if it's helping somebody on the side of the road. It really doesn't matter what way you choose to help. Going into a school, helping with kids learning how to read. There's so many ways that you can help, and it can be for all types of people that love all types of different things. So just know that being able to do that, what it does is it helps you get yourself out of your own head. Do you notice that when you kind of stay by yourself or in the same group of people, you're always thinking in the same way? So by getting yourself out there, doing things for others, you're no longer focusing internally. And it's an amazing way to kind of not only help out and get some self-esteem and self-confidence, but it can also help for careers when you're ready to move into that after school. So another Gandhi quote, your beliefs become your thoughts become your words become your actions become your values, and your values become your destiny. So it really, really starts with our thoughts, I think, and our beliefs. And those are ingrained in us really early on, and we don't even realize until maybe we try to challenge some of those beliefs and ideas, how ingrained they really are. So just know that this is a process. I feel like I do pretty good at positive self-talk, but when I struggle is when things aren't going good, right? They're not going good. I don't want to have positive self-talk. I want to be stuck in this negative kind of woe is me type of thing, but it's not doing me any good to do it. So that's really when you need to work on this and have these types of activities already in place so that you can get out of it easier, because you can get stuck in the negative. All right, so this was created and presented by me. We have other workshops that we offer. 60 seconds of you, it's writing the 60-second commercial for employment, applications online and paper, be your own boss, career planning, checkered past, communication at work, current employment trends, the FAFSA or free application for federal, misspelling, I'll point it out, federal student aid, interview success, and mock interviews at WorkSource, networking, portfolio power, Ready, Set, Graduate for those who are getting close to graduation. Resume strategies that work if you would like to learn more about how to write a good resume. That's awesome. Soft skills, volunteer, and working with difficult people. That's probably So we would love to hear from you. We are open to the public and free of charge. So if you know of anybody who would like to come in and get services from us, please send them our way. We would love to see them. And we do have an upcoming event in April. It's our Career and Networking Fair, and that is going to be April 19th from 10 to 2. It's a great way to meet some area agencies who would be hiring, so when you're ready to get out there. And then that's it. Any questions? No?
I didn't get a reaction response from me through the whole show. I don't need to ask you a question.
Any comments, anything? No? All right. Really quiet group. All right, well, that's it.